Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Collective Spotlight. This is episode 37. Yes, we are slowly making our way to 40, which then anybody that knows numbers, after that comes 50. And that means we get to do an exercise issue or something like that, right? So today I have a great friend of the store. If you were here last Wednesday, you probably saw him. He doesn't need much of an introduction. But his name is Mr. Luke Stone. How are you doing today, Luke?
What's up, man? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me on today.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Thanks for coming by last week.
Man, it's always my pleasure. The Collective is probably one of my favorite stores to go to, especially in that new big spot. It's awesome.
Steven's blushing. But yeah, you guys got to be like our second signing in the new store, and it was the first time we did more than one creator, and it felt spacious, right? You didn't have Travis all up on your grill.
Yeah, and it was kind of nice, to have a little extra room in there. We've done a couple with you guys before, and it was a little tight, but this is a lot more room. It's nice.
Awesome, dude. I'm glad you were able to make it out. I'm glad you liked the shop. I'm glad you were able to come by because you dropped off a book we didn't have yet, which was Hybrids issue 6, which is the first part of the Killing Field.
Yeah, I had just gotten it gotten it from the printer, a few days before I showed up. So that was a lot of fun to, be able to drop that off. And so Hybrids issue 6. So we're up to issue 6 now. Issue 7 is getting ready to crowdfund right now. Yeah. So issue 6, part 1 of the Killing Field is the second arc of this story that I have 3 arcs planned. And so we're pretty excited about it. This issue kind of introduces some new threats and a couple of new characters, but we really, in the next issue 7, it's supersized. It's 36 pages of story. 36 pages of story. Ooh. For that one. Yeah.
That's a nice little bonus there.
Yeah, it's massive. So I've actually got to cut that down when it goes to retailers. So the backup story is going to have to come out of it. It's going to be 32, 31 pages, 31 or 30. Yeah, I think 31 pages of just content. So
is that going to be the first one that you've done a backup story on, or do the previous did 6 have a backup?
No, the previous ones didn't have well, technically they didn't. Issue 5 had backup stories. So I had 2 different backup stories that went behind issue 5, even though it didn't come out in the original release of that. They were released as separate volumes, but they all came into the trade paperback. So now it's a matter of trying to figure out where those fit, because they're not going to fit with the retail release for issue 5, the new one through Arrow Comics. So pretty.
Got it.
I've got to figure out how that's going to fit and where all those are going to go. So that's fun.
Half of being a creator is figuring out how to make it work, right? I mean, it's like half.
Yeah, it's all about moving all the pieces around.
So talk to me a little bit. So it's cool to finally to see you get a second arc, because we had all the single issues, and now we have the trades too for what was volume 1, which you called Trash Day.
Yeah. So Trash Day. The way I wanted to start it, I was actually 5 issues for the first arc. I wasn't planning on doing 5 issues. Really, issue 1 is kind of like a 0 issue a little bit to kind of just wet whistle or kind of give you a taste, like a little preview to it. But it wound up getting picked up again and again. I've moved around from publisher to publisher a little bit, and people are always interested in this series, so I just keep making it. But yeah, so we compiled all that together, and everyone was like, "Why Trash Day?" Well, when you read it, you find out that you are introduced to this character named Clarence, but he doesn't like his name Clarence, and so he is a literal trash man. And so he goes by Trash Man as kind of his code name. That's his nickname. Hey, Trash Man. And, it's like, I'm the Trash Man, I take out the trash. But that's kind of who he is. He's just like this, but he's like big. He just doesn't fit in most places. And so he feels real comfortable in that environment. And that's kind of where he's at home. And he didn't even realize he's got powers until this little drone comes along and says, "Hey, somebody's getting ready to come try to get you. You better run." and it's just the whole first issue is just him running away from these people until he finally gets so fed up with it, he fights back, and you get to see his kind of his powers unleashed and stuff. And so that's kind of the whole first issue, and so that's why it's called Trash Day, because it's actually while he's at work, it's Trash Day. So
Trash Day. Well,
yeah,
and I love because it's your book is or at least Hybrids is a superhero book. In a way, I mean they are superheroes,
yeah.
superpowered beings. But it definitely has its own fresh take, and how I feel like I might have asked you this the first time I had you on, but as an independent creator who is writing something with superheroes, what are the challenges of trying to keep that unique and interesting to an indie community?
Well, I think it's the same challenges as what anyone would have, even in the mainstream. I mean, we see some of these characters, and you're like, oh, well, that's a derivative of this, And so, trying to make a character that really is standalone, a unique power set, is just one piece of the puzzle. And to be honest, there are some characters that have power sets that you see never other characters have. So, but that happens all the time. It's like flight, super strength, X-ray vision, all that kind of stuff. You'll see things like that. But I try to find very unique things about it. But the most important thing is to really develop who the character is. So it's not just their powers and their costume that's recognizable, but really to try to develop their personality inside of the book. And so that is probably the biggest challenge, so that people don't just think of it as just another indie superhero book, but they actually look at it as a well-written story. So,
and one of the things I really loved, and you showed me this when you dropped off the trade to me a couple months ago, but you got this awesome page,
yeah,
of all the different superhero suits he kind of tried on.
Yeah. So we knew in the next arc we were going to be changing, really working on Bone and developing him into a more mature character. Because in the beginning of the series, he's like the 20-something little brother to Chlorine, and he's that cringy little guy.
Too flashy, huh?
Too flashy. Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. So we wanted to show kind of like his personality and kind of how he would settle on a costume, and so it was my daughter's idea to do that. And so we did. I worked with Todd Altmans, and he was the writer behind it. I just drew a bunch of stuff, and then he wrote all the dialogue for it. And so it was pretty funny. But
it's a great page, and it's hilarious, and it's a nice little thing there at the end of the book. So I mean, when you showed me that, that's why as you're talking and you're talking about costumes, I'm like, I remember something. So
yeah. I just didn't want to I start out the series with pretty normal costumes where people could easily cosplay them. And then as we move into the next arc, I try to upgrade their suits a little bit. They're taking things a little more seriously. They've learned some new tech. They're getting stronger. I try to make them a little skinnier at the beginning. And then once Trash Man comes on the scene, he's a big bulky guy. So he's working out all the time. So I try to show that, they've been working out with him. He's getting them in shape, and, they're ready to start kicking some bad guy butt,
That's awesome. So is Killing Field schedule, or do you have it planned out to be 5 issues? 5 issue?
Actually, it's going to be 4. It's going to be 4. So where the original one would have been probably 4, if I would have taken and not realized that it was going to be a 0. Like if it would have been a 0 issue, it still would have been 4 issues, but we'd have just included the 0 issue into it. But so it was 5, but it probably would have been 4. And then so this next one is 4, but I'm going to try to cut the third arc down to 3, so that I can stay within, say 12 issues, and release for a full year the entire kind of big story, and then move into the next level for that comic series. So
speaking of something else that you might have in the works, actually, we know you have it in the works. Voodoo Nation's Numero Dos.
Yes, number 2. The art is finished with that. I think Travis just wrote a new page. He wants me to do one more page, and so
of course he did. Didn't he?
So I'll have to whip out one page here soon and get that done. But the colorist is getting close to being finished, and so we're getting ready to launch that one pretty soon on Kickstarter. And it's I like this one. So it's so much different from Hybrids in the fact that Hybrids is this I basically, if I do 22 pages, I try to do 11 pages of story and 11 pages of fighting and action, right? Because that's the 90s style team book, superhero book is really what it is. It's very gratuitous towards that 90s type X-Men and team book kind of stuff. So this is so much different because this is a suspense horror. and so it's all working towards that big setup at the end, and it's really cool because I've never worked on anything like that before. I've done some zombie. I did a book. It was a romantic zombie comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done, which I'm getting ready to redo and release in like little 6-page increments. So like little blog post. And so that's originally how I'd written the story as blog post.
If you want to, print, the first 6 pages of that in Tales from the Collective Initiative Volume 2, maybe we can make something happen.
We should definitely talk about that. Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, go ahead, Luke.
I was just going to say, at some point this year, I plan on taking a bunch of my little short stories and putting them together in a book called Other Realms, which some of those stories overlap with the Hybrids universe. So, they're all part of a shared thing. So it's kind of neat. Yeah.
Nice. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, what else? Because, Luke, you've had Hybrids in our store now for, not a year, but like, it feels like a year. Hybrids has been in our store since 2020. And Voodoo Nation has been in our store since 2020. What else is Luke Stone working on?
A bunch of smaller things. We had recently we had started a publishing company over the pandemic, and we had a couple of things come up, and there was really some better opportunities outside of the publishing company. So we wound up closing that down recently. And I have signed on with Arrow Comics. So Arrow Comics from back in the day, you might remember some of their stuff. You might have some of their stuff in the store.
Well, and I saw something. Maybe it was something that you posted, but I saw the Arrow. I think it was the newest. It's the launch page for your next issue of Hybrids. And I saw the Arrow logo there on the corner of the book. And I was like, that's a nice touch. I like it.
Yeah, it looks real nice. It's real attractive on there. So the books are going to be re-released through Arrow Comics, and they're going to come out monthly starting in August. I think August or September. And so we had a really big opportunity to be able to do that. And so we're real excited about it. But along with that comes a remastering of issue 1, which issue 1 was drawn a long time ago. It was my first one that I drew. And so now to make it more part of the story, I'm popping in, like, we're doing updated art. Yeah. So actually, here
this is the first thing so you can improve on this, is what you're implying.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you some fun stuff. So since no one else has seen this yet, so we're gonna share some screen with you, and I'm gonna show you my. I think this is the one.
Now I'm just gonna show, just because this splash page is awesome too, so I'm showing that too to the people.
Yeah, so that splash page is actually going to wind up being a panel.
Oh wow!
And we're going to extend that fight 3 pages and blend it into the other page. So I'm trying to add more content. For a while I was kind of relegated to just having single like 20 issue pages, 20 issue books, and 20 page issues is what I was trying to say.
20 issue books.
Yeah, there we go. So trying to fix that and rectify it. But so like here we've got a brand new scene that I'm working on. I'm redoing.
That's a brand new scene. Like I wouldn't even.
This one's not even in there. So this is something that that my editor said, hey, it'd be really neat if we did that. And so that's what we're doing. But here, if we go to that page that you opened up to with that splash, these are the inks. So you'll open that up, and we left one page is the same, but the other page, the splash, I redid. So.
Splash, and I was already impressed by this splash, but yes, you definitely tweaked it significantly. Like it's not like, oh, he just changed the color there or whatever. That's a different pose and everything a little bit.
I redrew it. I got a little better with figures and stuff now. So, and then there's a lot going on with going in and fixing. I wanted to match the ship with like what I've been drawing. Mm-hmm. And so we're kind of replacing some panels for that. And so you'll see how we do that with issue 1.
Luke, did you do your own colors on Hybrids?
No, actually, Patrick Gamma has been with me since issue 1. So,
okay.
And he's going back and redoing these for me too. So he'll be still a part of the whole process. this is neat because here's one where we take a whole page and we're leaving it right where it's at, and then we redid the other page behind it. So I work. So I do my own layouts, but for speed, I'd started hiring somebody to do layouts. And so in issue 2, because I was drawing like 2 or 3 books at the same time. So in issue 2, I started hiring this guy named Antonio Alvarez. And so he was doing a pretty good job with layouts. And so you'll see that things got better when I started working that way, because I didn't have to rush as much, and I could start focusing more on the art and things. And for issue 5, the end of issue 4, I wound up having to kind of redo a bunch of probably 5 or 6 scenes. I didn't really care. Like 5 or 6 whole pages wound up getting redone because I didn't really care for the layout at all. So I wound up. So most of 4, in the middle of 4, most of that is all my stuff that's redone. And but then so in issue 5, I had a new guy. I was still working on kind of a new style, like really trying to grab my style. And so issue 5, I started working with a guy named Brian Dawson. And so Brian, he and I have really started to develop the hybrids feel, like the way we work off of each other. And so he's actually getting rough pencils, some kind of a credit for rough pencils, because he'll do. Let me see if I can find a page that is not been penciled or anything yet.
Cool.
Yeah, so he'll give me something like this, like some rough layout, like, hey, it should look, and he'll just do that. Yeah. So that's usually what he'll give me, but sometimes he'll give me something like that face, which is like pretty much spot on what I need to draw.
Yeah.
And so he gets a thing. So now I've started moving him into a rough credit, like a rough pencils credit, because he's not just doing layouts for me. Sometimes he'll like really spend some time on one of those faces, and it looks really good, and so I'll leave it. So we're kind of working back and forth to speed things up, and in order to make the first 4 issues kind of feel like he had a part in it, so we can kind of ease people into to what you see in issue 6 and 7. He's going in and doing layouts for a couple of pages in the extended scenes. So he does the layout so we can get his feel, because he chooses, his choices for panel placement and stuff. He does these really, I'll give you an example if I can find it here. He does.
So is this almost like the Luke Stone cut? Is this the extended cut of?
That's exactly what this is. Yeah, that's exactly what this is. Yeah, it's the Luke Stone, director's cut, if you will. Yeah. So it's what I wanted it to be from the beginning, but just 2 things: didn't have the ability and didn't have the resources to do it. So, but yeah, you can see over here on this page where it's really like jagged panels and stuff like that. I don't typically do that. I try to stay. I stay pretty traditional with those things, but.
That is a kind of cool panel, though. I don't see that too often in comics, but I like that, almost like trapezoid looking.
Yeah, that one was kind of my choice, but then you can see I totally redid this splash page to make the inside of the ship look like the ship that's in there. So really, about 80% of this book is being completely redone, awesome. With the exception of pages like this where it's we're keeping 4 panels and redoing 2.
Still a lot of work, which leads me to ask the question of how. How do you decide what you are changing, what you aren't changing? And then B, did you struggle with the decision to go ahead and do something like this? Because while I'm sure you always wanted to, because like you said, this was your original vision, I'm sure there's financials involved with this and everything like that and time.
There are. And so I had been asked several times, are you going to go back and ever redo issue 1? And said, probably not. I said, I want to, but probably not, because I'd rather be making more issues, continuing to tell the story. And so I was never really going to do that until we got with Arrow Comics. And Randy Zimmerman, the editor-in-chief over there, did not ask me to do it. So I want to make sure that he did not. But he said, I understood this is going to go into retailers. And so there's going to be more eyes on this than what has ever been on it before. And it's getting a re-release from issue 1. And so every month a new issue will come out. And I thought, if I was ever going to do it, right now is the time to do this. And with new readers coming and the ability to do this with the kind of the prestige of a company like Arrow Comics, with kind of the background that they've had in comics, and with a guy like Randy Zimmerman as my editor-in-chief to be able to bounce things off of, I said, this is the perfect time for me to do this. And so that's why I decided to go ahead and do it now. What I did is I just basically brought the pages in. I imported everything back in, some with lettering, some without, because I didn't have most of the old inks. I didn't keep them. I didn't know what I was doing back then. So they all got flattened with colors, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know how I'm going to do this now. I think 2 or 3 pages still had separate inks. And but I brought them in, and I'm like, okay, well, what panels work? And I started looking at, there's this thing that happens with the eye. You can see a all right panel next to a really good panel. It makes that all right panel look even better. But when it's next to a panel that's kind of wonky, it looks worse. So I went through and tried to find the really problematic panels and then redo them. And then was like, oh, but I wasn't very good at sequential art back then. So I didn't really flow the story the way it should have. It's really hard to track. And so I'm like, well, let me do this, fix it. And I'm like, well, I've got to fill 32 pages now. So let me make this, so let me add some stuff to it. And gone nuts. I've gone nuts with this one. So about 80% of this book is completely brand new or edited in some way. Issue 2 is going to be it's 20%. Issue 3 is probably the one that has the fewest things to do. But issue 4, believe it or not, steps back up a little bit, because the pages, the layouts that I didn't like, that I didn't change myself, I'm going to have Brian redo them, because I'm like, I just didn't like it, It's
like we're restoring the Stoneverse here or something, It's like...
Yeah, it's... yeah. That's
awesome, man. And that's... I'm really, it shows your passion as a creator, and, indie or not, but it shows your passion as a creator to be willing, like you said, when you very early on said, I probably won't ever go back to that because I just got to put more issues out, man. And it's like, now though, your passion is showing and wanting to kind of perfect one of your first babies,
Yeah. Especially with all those new eyes on it. I need, I want them to get to the stuff that I'm doing now and really feel confident about it. So it's time to it's time to polish that. Can I say it? Polish a turd? Can I polish that turd?
Well, I mean, the people that have definitely bought your book, I mean, we've sold through it so well. I mean, remember, I had no copies left, and you're like, well, I'm bringing the trade down and everything like that, and you had the homage covers. Mm-hmm. We sold through the homage covers, and it's like, wow. Same thing with Voodoo Nations, man. It's like, you indie guys, I know you. And I think it's that tortured soul of any creator or any artistic is, my stuff's not good. My stuff's not good. And I've seen it with plenty of people. But I guess sales should speak for themselves, right?
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I was never going to redo it, because, I was like, well, it stands. It's, people that read it, they pick up issue 2 and, they've gotten to issue 5, issue 6 with me through it. But with this, with this new distribution deal, I mean, I'm the ability to be in retailers with Arrow Comics. It's a big print run for me. So I want to make sure that it's, that it is as, I want to make a really good first impression,
Yeah.
Issues 2 through 4, I want to extend those scenes a little bit. I want to make a couple of changes, do some more consistency with the faces and stuff, because I've gotten used to drawing them better now, and do some of those kind of things. Just little minor changes that most people probably won't notice, except for the extended fight scenes and maybe the addition of, I think issue 2, I'm doing an extent, a scene that was cut. So there was a scene that was cut from issue 1 and a scene that was cut from issue 2. And I fixed it by in issue 3 or 4 talking about the whole thing. So in issue 1, we meet Trash Man at work with his friend Brian, and you never hear from Brian again, because all of his scenes got cut for space.
Oh, because I was flipping through a trade. I'm like, man, this guy's just gone. Like, he just disappeared.
Yeah. He's not that much of a side character. Like, it's not like what people don't even say. He's not fodder. Okay. He's Trash Man's best friend.
I'm like, you didn't even have the nerve to kill him. You just had him disappear,
because he's not dead. He's not dead. But I've not been able, so there's a whole new scene that was added in for issue 1 where he's trying to get a hold of him. And then we added bits where Chlorine and Bone are kind of interacting with Brian. So you get more Brian in this one. And then there's a whole other scene that kind of allows for Trash Man to kind of go off and do all of the adventuring that he has to do. But we still have Brian there in the story. So I'm really excited about it. I can't wait for people to see it and to read it, to get it, to digest it. I think it's going to make that first arc even better for people that have read it already and are fans of it. It kind of ups it for them. It's the first issue that they deserve. Yes.
So as you were, because we kept saying Trash Day and Trash Man. And I was just like, Luke, and you can have this for free, dude. Like, I'll give you this. This idea is free. I'm not charging you. All right. So you get your 6-page ash can for hybrids of some sort, whichever character you want to do, right? Yeah. And it's not going to be called an ash can. It's
going to be called a trash can.
Trash can.
Yeah.
Steven just looked up from his computer.
But,
yeah.
And it was like watching a plane crash.
Couldn't look away. No, you can have that one free. Just make sure we get a couple copies.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to give a shout out while I had you on the show. First of all, Luke, you were here last Wednesday for you were here almost all day. You were here like 8 hours or so. But you busted out 11 commissions for us in that time.
Mm-hmm.
He was exhausted, guys. He was exhausted.
I lost feeling in 2 fingers.
I wanted to go and show some of them. And of course, I had to pull out Doink the Clown here.
Yeah.
But I definitely wanted to give you some love and let people know we do have some Luke Stone commissions here in the store. I think one of them will go on our auction this Wednesday. But I love showing off his Star Wars stuff because last time you were here, I had you draw a Star Wars piece, and I was like, Luke, do you think you could draw a Star Wars piece? And he's like, is my name Luke, or like, you think my parents named me Luke for no reason? And so now, anytime you're in the building, I know you have to do a Star Wars piece for us.
Yeah.
But Darth Vader was awesome, dude.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I've gotten some new markers, so I'm trying to work out using color and stuff and shading and gray tones. So
and
the next time I come in.
Touch.
Yeah,
because there's a little red in there.
Yeah, I thought it was, but it wasn't quite the red I wanted, so I got new markers. So
sounds
like
the hardest thing to do, right?
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. So the next time I'm down there, I'll whip out some more stuff for you, but it should go a little bit better because I've started adding all the gray tones and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
I mean, no, dude, and the thing is, your commissions from the first time you were here to the second time you were here to the third time, I mean, everything's improved. Everybody can see it. Which actually reminds me, one last thing before I let you go. You are, if I'm not mistaken, I hope I'm not throwing you under the bus here. You are going to be back May 1st, right?
I am, yeah. Mm-hmm. May 1st, I'll be back. So hopefully we'll sell through whatever hybrids you have there. I don't know how much I'll have left. We're trying to move through as much as we can now to make room for the new Hero stock. But yeah, and we've got issue 7 that's getting ready to crowd. We're in pre-launch right now for issue 7. Issue 6, anyone that crowdfunded that, books are shipping out this week. So hopefully we'll have all of them out this week. If not, at least more than 50% of them. But I have about 80 packages to send out. So,
and then we will have your cover available as well for our Collective Initiative book. Steven, he sent me a copy that was a partially colored before. I'm not going to show that off, but I do want to, because I don't think anybody has actually gotten to see that cover yet.
You're actually showing it?
Yeah, he's here. It's not your colored. I'm showing the black and whites.
Okay.
I'm showing the black and whites. Steven thought I was showing incomplete colors. I'm not that guy.
That close to done.
Don't do that.
So, share that screen. To stream. So that is our good friend Luke Stone doing a Avengers homage, and from the Avengers movie, with all the characters from our book. And what I love, Luke, and I'm so glad.
So much emphasis.
Because when I say Avengers, they're like, what issue? No, not issue. And then he added the eyesore on I-4, the Majesty Building, the unfinished building, whatever. Yeah, I believe it's called the Majesty Building. So that's a cool little thing that our locals will absolutely love because Luke was nice enough to add that on there. So thank you, Luke.
Yeah. When you said, "Can you do that?" I'm like, "Of course." Like, is there any other building to put there? I mean, it has to
and
be
it's
that
right down the road from our store. Like, you can probably walk out of our store and see it. So I think it's awesome for that piece. But that will be in store May 1st as well for Luke to sign and everything like that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So
absolutely, dude. Well, Luke, thank you so much again for saving my butt coming on talking about hybrids. We have the trades here in the store, guys. I have actually multiple different cool covers that he did. The regular, there was the Kickstarter. Or the Indiegogo, I forget. Indiegogo, I think, right?
Yeah, it was Indiegogo exclusive. Yeah, not
then
exclusive anymore. Anyone can get it. And then the Holoflow, yeah.
And then we do have both covers of issue 6. Come and get them. Grab the newest story arc, and we'll have Luke back here May 1st. You can check him out first Saturday in May, and we'll actually be doing our grand opening here at the store.
Yeah, it's exciting, man.
Yes, fun times ahead, man. So best of luck with everything you gotta do because you're gonna be a busy guy here in the next couple weeks. But we'll see you soon, dude. And thanks again for coming on and everything.
No problem. Have a good one.
Take it easy. Have a good one. So thank you, everybody, for joining us for episode 37 of the Collective Spotlight. We had 4 likes today. One of them was Steven. He doesn't count. But thank you so much for everybody for watching. Thank you, Luke, for coming in and being our guest. And we will see you guys officially tomorrow at the 5:30 Collective Happy Hour, Hump Day Happy Hour one-day auction. Some cool things. Hump Day auction. Is this going on the auction?
Sure.
That's going on the auction. Other things are going on the auction, but I don't want to get in trouble. So bye, guys. Take it easy.